What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out some brand new Blue Eyes support that just got revealed. This is coming out of the Duelist Pack 20, and we knew that more Blue Eyes support was going to be revealed in this set. For one, I'm almost certain that Kaiba is on actually the cover of the DP20, and then obviously Konami has already shown us the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. So yeah, we were definitely going to get more support. I've already alluded to possibly there being a Link monster in here, although I'm starting to have some reservations about that. I kind of feel like a Blue Eyes Link monster will be like a huge deal, a huge selling point. So I feel like maybe Konami might keep that for like a Mega 10 in the future or something like that. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out these new cards. We've got two of them to discuss: a monster and a spell. Not the Link monster, obviously that would be a really big deal. Blue Eyes Solid Dragon is the first card. It's a level 8, so you know, trade in stays super consistent, and Blue Eyes just more cards to trade in. It's light attribute, a dragon type, obviously. 2500 attack, 2000 defense. The first and the second effects are hard once per turn. First effect, if this card is normal / special summon, you can target one monster your opponent controls, negate that monster's effects. So it's permanent. Basically, you're just getting a Fiendish Chain or, you know, a breakthrough skill and effect Veiler and impermanence, whatever. Second effect, when an opponent's monster, or excuse me, when an opponent's card or effect is activated, this is a quick effect, you can shuffle this card on the field into the deck, and then if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck. That seems like a pretty decent effect because it allows you to dodge targeting, you know, and I guess even destruction in some cases. I would probably lean to something like a Mirror Force situation where you attack your opponent Mirror Forces, you tag out for Blue Eyes White Dragon and summon it in defense mode. It'll be unaffected in that case. Or, you know, just simple targeting. Your opponent has Masterpiece, they try to, you know, target your dude, you basically tag it into the deck and get a different monster. The problem with this card, and the immediate thing that I looked for, is like, how exactly am I supposed to summon this card? My first thought was, I guess they want us to use White Stone of Ancients. I mean, that kind of summons all the Blue Eyes monsters, so I don't really think that that inherently makes getting this card on the field any better. And in that case, I'd probably, in a lot of situations, rather go with the Dragon Spirit of White, as it has the same exact stat line, but when it's summoned, it's actually going to, you know, get rid of one of your opponent's spells and traps, instantly banish it. So I look at this card, and I think that a lot of Blue Eyes players are struggling for that really dominant third monster in the Blue Eyes archetype. Like, obviously every Blue Eyes version is going to run 3 copies of the original Blue Eyes, and you know, it kind of makes the deck go. You're always going to run 3 copies of Alternative Dragon because it's significantly better than the original Blue Eyes, summons itself easy enough, has an on-field removal effect, and has great stats. But everything else, like the White Stone, or excuse me, the White Dragon Spirit, like, people only run 1 of that. And I look at this card and I'm like, yeah, your Fiendish Chain effect is okay, you know, your ability to tag yourself out for a Blue Eyes is okay. If you could do it at any given point, then I would say that this card warrants more consideration, because then you'd be able to attack with it, tag it out during that same battle phase, do extra damage. I just don't even know if you really need to run this card, because I think that it's kind of worse than Dragon Spirit of White, and people only run like 1 copy of that, maybe 2 copies at best. I think that this card doesn't really bring anything new to the table. So if you're running this, I just have to ask really why. It just doesn't have a way of special summoning itself, which I think that it desperately needed at this point. Kind of feel like it's just trade-in fodder. Even if it was like a normal monster in the graveyard, that would make it significantly better, because then at least it would work with something like Silver's Cry, or, you know, some of the other cards that work with like normal monsters. Well, no one runs Swing of Memories, but you get what I'm saying. The second card is actually a search card for Blue Eyes. It's called Bingo Machine Go-Go. This is a normal spell that's a hard once per turn. Reveal 3 of these cards from either or both categories from your deck. Your opponent randomly chooses 1 of them, and then you add it to your hand. Shuffle the rest back into your deck. So the cards you get to choose from are a Blue Eyes monster, or a spell / trap card that specifically lists the card Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in its name, except another copy of Bingo Machine Go-Go. So I'm not gonna lie, I actually had to go ahead and do a quick search of the pool of what this card could get, and I won't lie, I was pretty damn impressed, specifically when it comes to the monsters that you can get. You can get a lot of the good Blue Eyes cards that you see people run in their competitive versions. Not only can you get both of the rituals, the Chaos Max Dragon and then the new Chaos Dragon, as they're both Blue Eyes cards, but you can pretty much get all the big dragons that people run in standard Blue Eyes builds. You can get the original White Dragon, you can get Alternative Dragon, you can even get Dragon Spirit of White, because it always counts counts as a Blue Eyes card. Hell, even if you were playing something completely random, you could even go and get like the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon if that's your, cup of tea or something like that. The problem really isn't this card. It's kind of the inherent fact that the Blue Eyes spells and traps are really not that impressive. It's really weird because it almost feels like Blue Eyes is the opposite of Dark Magician, where Dark Magician, like, there are so many good spells and traps, Eternal Soul and Circle, and they're all kind of integral parts of your win condition, getting them on the field and getting that combo. Blue Eyes isn't really like that. Like, the Blue Eyes cards aren't even really ran competitively unless you're running a Chaos Max version. You can get Chaos Form, which you can use to summon Chaos Max Dragon, and that's actually pretty nice, which kind of makes me think that this card might be better in a Chaos Max version of Blue Eyes because it can get Chaos Max, it can get the Ritual, it can get the original Blue Eyes. You can use that for tribute fodder. But in an original Blue Eyes deck, you're really only going to be searching monsters with this, unless you're, I don't know, off the wall and maybe you run Burst Stream of Destruction. But for the most part, that's the only spell that you really see Blue Eyes run that's associated with Blue Eyes. Like, I know Blue Eyes has other cards. They have, Majesties with Eyes of Blue. It's not really that good of a card. Blue Eyes has a field spell, but nobody actually runs those cards because they're not that good. So, I mean, I could see you maybe running one copy of this. Definitely no more than 2. In fact, maybe 2 might be the right number because I know Blue Eyes has, it's had historically a problem with bricking. People call it brick eyes and whatnot. And the early game for Blue Eyes is very important. So I guess you want to have a whole bunch of cards that like get you to other cards, whether those be Trade-In or Melody of the Awakening Dragon, Pot of Desires. You pretty much expect maybe one of those cards to get Ash Blossomed. And I guess this is just another card to kind of unbrick your hand or to get you to a specific card that you might want to use, especially if you activate it early in the game where you can just choose 3 of the same card, choose 3 copies of alternative, 3 copies of the original Blue Eyes, and you guarantee that you're going to get that card. It's not bad at all. I mean, yeah, it's definitely worth running. Still think it's better in Chaos Max because I think the pool is going to be deeper. I just wish, I think it kind of needed to do something from the graveyard because the Blue Eyes like spell and trap pool, it's so bad right now. Like, maybe you could banish this card from the graveyard to protect the Blue Eyes from like destruction ones. Like, I think that would have been kind of nice, but it's an okay card. It's definitely better than the monster. This one should actually see play in Blue Eyes deck. So you guys let me know what you think of these 2 cards. That's just my opinion. I want to hear yours. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos.